Greetings everyone, it's Chloe and it is midsummer, summer solstice. My boys are still not quite up yet. They're slow moving in the morning, so I thought I'd just go ahead and pop and do a video while I had a bit of time. I still am going to do some activities with them, but we evidently have to go and do some official business at the post office. We have a trip for Iceland later in the year, and we evidently have to get passports for the kids. And so we are attending to that today. And evidently both parents have to be present, so there isn't any shenanigans going on. So, yeah. I have gotten, here in the US, we have these lovely stores called Dollar Tree. And I actually usually don't shop for a lot of plasticky type things, but they have these fabric storage units. And I needed to be able to carry my stuff from indoors to outdoors. And when I was bringing stuff out, it was like way too many handfuls of things. So I thought, oh, while I go get my water cup, I better go and get something to, carry everything in, because I only have so much time. So let's get to business, shall we? Again, happy midsummer. I know for some people it was yesterday, or kind of yesterday and kind of today, around the world, and because of time zone issues. And so far it's a lovely, light, cloudy day. So I don't know how much sun we're actually going to see, but this is actually perfect for me. I have sun sensitivity, which basically means that if I'm in the sun too long, I can get red and kind of get that first sun stuff going on, but I also swell a little bit. I have a bit of sun reaction. I don't want to say that I'm allergic to it, but I didn't used to do this when I was younger, so whatever, things happen. One of the things I wanted to talk about is basically people have been asking me about chakra stuff again, and I'm not really into chakra stuff. I think I may have mentioned this a bit on a few videos about other things, about how I was going to find my notes of what I put down to try to keep me focused when I talk about this. I feel that the chakra system, or ideal, or how people work with currents through the body when it comes to chakra system ideas, and I'm not saying that they aren't a reality, but I think that your body can learn with you how to focus your systems. And I've never really well connected to chakras. The few times that I've actually allowed people to work with me through chakra systems, I've had really not positive results. And when I've tried to work with it on my own, I can move my currents better on my own in, I feel, safer ways than when I've had other people messing with my currents and then leaving me either closed or partially open in odd ways that felt very disconcerting. And I've even gotten sick and injured during times when after people have been messing with my currents. So, and that's when I allowed them. They were supposedly doing a healing work on me, and it didn't seem to work very well. So, oh, that's not quite the right page. So I wanted to talk about a Celtic or European, I guess it would be European because Celts are from Europe, system or a way of, part of the cosmology actually, of viewing the world. There's this thing called the Three Cauldrons. And I got the idea, and I know it comes from much older manuscripts, something called the Cauldrons of Poesy. I don't think I use this concept the way it was written, but this book, Ogam, Weaving Word of Wisdom, by Erin Rowan Laurie. She has a lot of info about Celtic Reconstructionism in here, and some older, like some stuff about the actual practices. And then, of course, a good chunk of this book is about the Ogam. But then later in the book, it also talks about the Three Cauldrons, meditation, and the dragon breath. Wow, I've taken her ideas of focusing meditation on these three centers, which one is by the, and they usually describe it from head to bottom, but I'm so used to people talking about things from like base up. So, however, basically, I'll read my notes so that I don't get us all confused here. Okay, so the first pelvic girdle area one, the cauldron of warming in the depths of our bellies, basic current and wisdom we need to live. So you can find better resources, and she explains it way better here. I'm not going to go too detailed, but I kind of lightly work with my cauldron, so to speak, my currents through the cauldrons. And the flow of the idea of moving in either a circular or oval pattern of my energies, and in a way that it's connecting down with Mother Earth and then sliding through and up around me and back down to Mother Earth. But I've added in this cauldron idea into how I work with my currents, because one, it comes from my ancestry, from my ancestral culture, and two, I've never had a problem with this. I've never had where I couldn't, for some reason, move my energies, my currents, my whatever, the flow of my aura, and the internal energy as well. And three, I honestly feel that the Asian chakra system and those things are awesome for people who can work with it, but I don't believe, from what I feel of current, that everybody should be working with it. Now, everybody can disagree with me or whatever. I'm going based off of what I felt around people, what I've seen, in a sense, and what I've sensed, basically, mostly, because I don't necessarily see the spiritual currents. I feel them, and they feel heavy, light. They feel like different, I guess you would say, elements or realm essences to me, like land, sea, and sky, and fire being equivalent in the Celtic sense. Okay, so the next one, I already mentioned the cauldron of warming, right down by the pelvic girdle area. The second one is by the heart, and before I go too far, the bottom one is supposed to start upright. Like everybody starts off with a firm, solid base, upright cauldron. Okay. Then the second one, you're born with it. It starts on its side. Okay, tipped over, almost like a waxing or waning moon. And then that one's it's called, the second cauldron focuses on the heart, the lungs, emotions. It's called the Cauldron of Emotion, and it's in the center of our chest. And then the third one starts totally inverted, where the opening of the cauldron would be upside down and tipped over. And this is the one, the Cauldron of Wisdom. It's in our head, or it's our head or on top of it. And again, it starts totally tipped over, and it's the one, basically they say that you need to fill it up and explore the divine in our own places in the universe and each other. It's spiritual development. So when you start off, you are a very pure spirit that doesn't have a lot of knowledge yet. That part I get it. I do, but I also feel like if you believe in reincarnation at all, whether it's like you were a cat before or a plant before or whatever, I know that you carry some of that wisdom within you through different lifetimes. Maybe not all of it, maybe not even the identity of what you were, but there's certain aspects that you may carry forward. I also believe there are some people who are really, really new or remixed of current or energies, and they're experiencing something very new for the first time. So that I can totally see the third cauldron working that way as the Cauldron of Wisdom. So I have to say that I feel like some people are born with maybe a bit more in their cauldron when they're born than others, and it may very well start off tipped over with essences hovering within. And I think that I would apply this to people that I've been heard lots and lots of times called old souls, who seem to still carry some of the wisdom from some other experience in another life or some way. And they carry it forward, and they tend to learn life experience or some other kind of wisdom type aspect to their personality forward into life. So, long story short, I work with the Three Cauldrons intermingling with flowing current and the auric field and I guess you would say the energies of the body. I call them currents. And I really don't want to work with chakras in the sense that everybody else does, because it doesn't work for me. And I've heard a few other people talk about this as a road for enlightenment, or for, moving further along your spiritual path as a druid or a Celt or whatever. But honestly, I loved this idea just for the connection with the land and the spirits, and having a framework that based off of my European ancestry, be it Celtic or whatnot, that I could possibly work with and identify with. And so far, I've had really positive results. I haven't worked with it as much as I would like to, but those times when I've included it, because I don't meditate with like a storyline. I don't meditate with like going into the forest, whatever. I've led others through those kind of meditations because I'm mostly reading through it and holding an intentive space and encouraging my flow of current to move in the pattern or color or motion that I'm trying to guide people through. But I found that a lot of people I help with that kind of thing tend to need a journey. And so I read through that while I hold the intention of what I'm really doing uh, within me. And I notice that when people touch on what I'm doing currently in a connected way nearby, just they feel how the energy is moving, and then their own body responds to it. It's kind of like how if you're a sensory person in the sense of being sensitive to intuitive intelligence, which is what a lot of people call psychic, or you tend to get information without knowing where it comes from, which is claircognizance. Not necessarily the predictive kind, but the kind where it's like when something's going to work or not. When someone's in danger or not. It's more of a present tense for me anyways, although I do know some of what I'm getting from what I feel are possibly people who've passed on sometimes, or from the spirits that live near my home or wherever I'm at the moment, and those who are drawn when I am spiritually working with someone for readings or some other form of basically spiritual work in a healing sense or a reading sense. Okay, so I would encourage people to check out the Cauldrons, Three Cauldrons. There's a bit about it on the OBOD website or the druidry.org. There's a bit about it on a lot of different sources, and if you put in the Cauldrons of Poesy in your search engine, you'll get all kinds of things. A nice, neat, quick source, if you don't already have the book, is this Ogam, the Weaving World of Wisdom, and Weaving Word of Wisdom. And she's not using it for necessarily healing purposes in this book. She's talking about it as a way to center and focus for use of divinational means, and bringing balance within the body. And they say it's from the Irish tradition, and I have Irish descent within me, and German and Scandinavian. So anything that's like basically Northern European to Central European, I am willing to take a peek at, and I guess Western European, because I believe Ireland and those are on the west, right? Okay. Geography is not always my best subject. So yeah, those are a few thoughts, and this is midsummer, and I just wanted to get it out there because it applies to our currents and energy. And like on a day today, I could be out and not feel as if I have to worry about being sunburned. And and this is the Northwest in the U.S. and Washington, so I'm not surprised that we're having a bit of a cloudy day. We are very close to bays and water and the ocean, and more the bays here in Olympia. So yeah, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will be doing little clips and stuff of what me and the boys do a little bit later today for the summer solstice, and I guess you also know it as Alitha. And yeah, but I wanted to do this about the cauldrons because I just wanted to get my first thoughts out on it. And if people are interested, I can do more, or even maybe do, if not a meditation, a guided color breath work with everybody with the added focus of the cauldrons. So if you're interested, please comment. If you just want to talk about the ideas, or if you have further information about it was like I want to say medieval Irish manuscript that the Cauldrons of Poesy came from the places I've read from so far. Not just this book, but there was a couple other quotes online. But I tend to want to see how accurate things are myself. I'm sure there's some accuracy there, but I can't quote from that. I just know that when I got the idea from this book and I started working it in a way as a replacement for chakra systems, it seems to work well for me, but I know that I'm probably not using it in the way intended for spiritual druidic growth. I'm more using it as a way to reconnect with my current, with working with the cauldrons, since it is an ancient um, thought, practice, and tool used within the folk culture of my ancestors. And I also didn't want to borrow from like Native American practices, because evidently in our family we do have some Native American on both my children's father's side of the family and on my side of the family, but I don't have enough to be involved or claim anything within the Native traditions. I just know it's some part of my ancestry, a little bit trail in there. I do honor the spirits of the land that I live on, but I don't try to use too much of what they have, because I know that they probably wouldn't identify with me that much. Although I've always had really positive responses when I've given nature offerings and show respect to the land spirits. So yeah, I think I better end there. I don't want to get too long. I hope you all have a lovely midsummer, and I will be doing another video a little later today on the family activities we're going to do. So peace out. I've got to get the kids going to take care of that other stuff. Bye bye.